Gael. Welcome to the Minister, and I second this Fine Gael motion from Senator Mary Siri Carney, and I thank her for her work in this matter and her passion that she always brings. This motion really acknowledges the contribution of our young people through volunteering, advocacy, and how they've really built such reserves of resilience that inspire us in the face of this pandemic over the past year. During the year, at times I've sort of thought, how I would have felt facing a pandemic and lockdown if I was a teenager or if I was in my 20s. Like I remember back, moving, that period where you went from school to college and you met your lifelong friends and getting the opportunity to travel and, if you were learning languages as I was, really getting to travel and work in France and Spain. And, an awful lot of that was lost to so many young people in this past year. And that's something we have to acknowledge. It's such a period in our lives. It's discovery, it's learning, we're meeting new people, new experiences. It shapes us and it shapes the people that we are. But our young people, I think, have given us such hope this year. Real examples, as I've mentioned, of resilience, changing their own behaviours, imagine, to protect their parents, grandparents and their loved ones. I know locally around my area in Ballinasloe, so many young players' clubs became involved with the community call, through the county councils, particularly for us with Galway and Roscommon. And during those first few dreadful months, if we think back to the fear and anxiety at the very beginning, February, March, April, May last year, there was such fear, and our knowledge of the pandemic was very limited. And yet these young people brought hope to older people, delivering meds from the pharmacy, delivering groceries, the papers. And it was replicated around all the counties. All these clubs stepped up, and young people stepped up. As Fine Gael spokesperson in education, further and higher education, I sit on the Education Committee, and I also sit on the Mental Health Committee. And we've heard over the past number of months the impacts of COVID-19 and the lockdown on young people, especially when schools were closed. Excuse me. The sacrifices during lockdown was to save lives, but it also allowed us to really prioritise as a government reopening schools. And, our children and our young people came first. It was a priority of this government. And we know that the closure of schools, although we use technology to facilitate remote learning, impacted on development, and it impacted also on social skills. And in the time ahead, I know our post-primary schools will be working well to ensure the well-being and inclusivity for all students. In the Education Committee, we also looked at bullying and the impacts, particularly on young people, cyberbullying and online harassment, especially at post-primary level. And I know that we have legislation introduced by Minister Helen McEntee as well that's looking at online harassment and really, supporting young people who go through really difficult times online, particularly with sharing of images. In terms of exams, I know that the accredited grade system has reduced stress and anxiety for students by offering choice and options for an accredited grade or sitting an exam. But as well, as has been mentioned, the traditional college experience is also very different. At third level, Minister Simon Harris has increased the number of places available through the apprenticeship programme, where people can earn and learn, and it brings you from diploma to PhD. It's gone from 6,000 to 10,000. And there's a further 2,200 places at college as well. There is a consultation on the SUSI programme, the Student Universal Support, is also taking place at the moment with Minister Harris about how to reform the support and to make it more eligible and more people and students to be eligible for this programme. So now more than ever, there is such a choice for school leavers at age 17 or 18. And as Senator Siri Carney has noted, Ireland included young people in the PUP payment. And that did extend, and when you seasonally adjust, it does make a difference in terms of the figures. We know that there's a large number of students that are currently on the PUP payments. Thank you, and I will stop there. Thank you.